Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're a man of your word. Thank you for holding this hearing. You're a great advocate for kids and have been it's been a career as an advocate for educational choice opportunities. Ms. Merriweather, I'm moved by your story as somebody who's worked very hard on these issues in Indiana. Before my time in Congress, I've talked to hundreds of people that have a story just like yours, and it's part of why I have so much passion for this issue. You know, there are several reasons that I'm so passionate about school choice. Part of it is I believe it's the civil rights issue of our time. It gets to the essence of the American idea, this idea in the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence that we all are endowed by our Creator with the right to pursue happiness. In modern life, we take that as your opportunity to live the American dream. And to have that dream a reality in modern America, it all starts with an education. Secondly, I'm passionate about this because, you know, there's a lot in this debate that's complicated, but there's some things that aren't very complicated. And to me, what's not very complicated is this. If we want to determine what the best option is for a child, we ought to ask their parent. That the best way to determine what is the best path for a child's future is to let that parent decide what's the best option for them. I've seen in Indiana what happens when those options open up. In Indiana, we now have 200,000 families, 200,000 kids who are taking advantage of educational opportunities through vouchers, through charters, through public school choice opportunities, virtual school, and the like. And it's amazing, as Mr. Bryan talked about, as he's seen in North Carolina, when the families come, each year we have a rally at our State House where multiple thousand families show up that are part of this program and advocating for it to continue in the future. And those families are a mosaic of our state. Every race, color, and creed, religion, economic background, all just looking for an opportunity to have their shot at the American dream. You know, today's conversation will no doubt talk about a lot of the complexities that come with providing educational opportunities for kids in America. What's the appropriate role of the Federal Government? What's the pitfalls? Philosophical concerns. And all of that debate is legitimate, right? But we all need to remember as we work through that debate that as we wait, as we frankly dither, millions of kids in this country are going to go to a school today where they don't really have a chance to succeed. And we can do better. We can make sure that every kid in America has a chance. So now with that, and again, I appreciate the Chairman giving me the opportunity to start here. You know, it's interesting as we talk about statistics, one of the things that's changed as this movement, as Mr. Robinson talked about, has evolved, is the popularity of these programs. Recent poll came out, released just a few days ago by the Beck Research, the American Federation for Children, says that choice programs, educational choice, are favored. 74% of parents favor these options, 23% oppose. 76% of African Americans favor, 20 oppose. 76% of Latinos favor, 21 oppose. Millennials now, 75% favor. Mr. Robinson, could you talk a little bit, why do you think these programs, why do you think parents support school choice?
Parents support school choice because they simply want what is best for their own children. You know, it's interesting that education may be one of the few human endeavors where the customer's voice at times seems not to matter. In other places, if customers say, I don't want to buy your product, guess what? In some places, your business would actually cease to exist. When we ask parents, what kind of school do you want? They want a school that's at strong academics, a school that's safe. And so what parents have done simply is to say we'd like to have access to the tax dollars we invest in our system. Remember, it's the taxpayers' money, and they see that it's important. I had a chance, in fact, I moved to Milwaukee for 2 years to study what at that time had the most robust three-sector initiative in the nation. 1/3 of its school-age population decided not to enroll itself in the traditional public school system. It wasn't because they did not like public schools, it's because they liked parental options. And I think often we overuse the conjunction or. It's either private school or public schools, when really it's an and aspect. And they like it because it's making a great difference. When you look today and realize there's over 27,000 students enrolled in Milwaukee, where in 1990 was a few hundred students at several schools, that's not by accident. It was mentioned earlier about supply side. Be very clear. If there's a demand, there will be a supply. There's been a growth in the private schools that have grown in Milwaukee and other cities that have taken place. Even in Washington, D.C., where you have a healthy market, we've seen changes.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look forward to today's debate.